my life, I've never seen anything like it.
It was absolutely atrocious, but you know what? The Americans had our flag on their floor in the dressing room, and now I want to know if they want us to sign it.
Ah, Justin Trudeau, don't let a good lie go to waste. Ladies and gents, welcome back. What do we know? We know that Team Canada won the Four Nations bout against the United States of America. The finals were last night. The verdict's in. Team Canada has won. Now, this has been in a lot of contention because there's been a lot of political animosity riled up along with this sporting event. Now, a lot of people taking it too seriously and a lot of people bringing politics in sports. The idea here is leave politics out of sports, but nonetheless, there's been some healthy ribbing and some non-healthy ribbing. I'll let you be the judge on whether this is healthy or not. Donald Trump inviting Governor Trudeau to watch the Four Nations hockey final with him. This was ahead of time, of course. And Carolyn Levitt giving her little quip here in the White House press conference.
He looks forward to watching the game tonight, and we look forward to the United States beating our soon-to-be 51st state, Canada.
Of course, that's funny. It's funny, but the reality is, let's leave the politics out of a sporting event, but people can't seem to do that. And with Canada booing the Star-Spangled Banner back in Montreal in the last game, you wouldn't be surprised to hear that the Americans in Boston were booing "Oh Canada." Yeah, okay, so that's not great. That's not a great showing, but this is par for the course. Now, there are some Canadians booing this because of how the words were sung in the song.
True patriot love that only us command.
Wait, those aren't the words. Hold on a second. True patriot love that only us command. It's in all thy sons command, but this is indicative of Trudeau's Canada. That's right. Trudeau's Canada, where our country's history is being erased, vanished right before our eyes, like out of an Orwellian novel. That's right. They've changed the lyrics of the national anthem. They've changed our passports to erase our history. They've taken down the statues of our founding prime ministers. This is Trudeau's Canada, but what do you expect from someone who says stuff like this?
Poverty is sexist.
Yeah, and you're an idiot. But this is where we're at in Canada, where the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is posting this just after Team Canada wins the hockey finals.
I've never seen anything like it.
It was absolutely atrocious, but you know what? The Americans had our flag on their floor in the dressing room, and now I want to know if they want us to sign it.
Well, this turned into an international incident back in 2002 at the women's bout against the Americans, the Canadians against the Americans in the Olympics. Now, most people, let's be honest, are not watching women's sports, but it becomes a big issue when it's Canada versus the United States. It's always been the case. Anytime we have international bouts in sporting events, it becomes a big thing. It becomes a big story. But what was being said here was actually a big lie. It was a big lie that was supposed to be actually just shared in the locker room to rile up what they thought Team Canada players thought were their meathead player that would get all angry. And let's get into that story. Now, first, before we get into a longer write-up, let's just acknowledge the fact that this was not true. Globe and Mail wrote about this more than 22 years ago, saying Canada's flag wasn't desecrated. This article was published 22 years ago, and it's still behind a paywall. That's why I had to find an archived version of it. Great job, Globe and Mail, on keeping up with your articles. But members of the U.S. women's hockey team did not desecrate a Canadian flag at the Salt Lake City Olympics. American and Canadian hockey officials said yesterday after a joint investigation. Canada beat the United States 3-2 for the women's hockey gold medal in February 21st. After the game, Canadian players said they were angered that American players stomped on a flag in their locker room. U.S. players repeatedly and vehemently denied the rumor. USA Hockey is based in Colorado Springs, and the Canadian Hockey Association issued a joint statement saying U.S. players had committed no acts of disrespect against the flag. Well, it turns out this was actually just some, locker room talk just to get players riled up and get them more angry at the U.S. team in the hopes that they would win the game. They didn't expect this to get out, and when it did, it turned into international headlines that people still today believe, including, it looks like, Justin Trudeau, but he should know better because this is the reality of the situation. Now, Alex Zoltan put a really, really interesting thread together on X. Now, if you may know Alex Zoltan, he's been on the channel before. He's written extensively on X and now writes for True North. I believe they call themselves Juno News now. The story behind this moment is way more controversial than most people realize. It really is. What she said is what Justin Trudeau has tweeted out right after the hockey game in a contentious time in Canadian history. Let's unpack a bit of Canadian hockey history here. Haley Wickenheiser, as they stepped on our flag story from 2002 Salt Lake City Olympics, goes that Team USA stomped on Canada's flag, fueling Wickenheiser's fury. But there's a twist. It might have been a total fabrication. Post-gold medal game, Canada won 3-2. Wickenheiser told CBC she'd heard Team USA had Canada's flag on their dressing room floor, implying disrespect. I wonder if they'd like to sign it, she quipped. And it lit a fire, except evidence suggests it never happened. It never, ever happened. A joint USA Hockey and Canada Hockey Association report later debunked it. No flag stomping occurred. Rumors point to Canada's teammates concocting the story to work Wickenheiser up, make her aggressive, angry, even violent. If true, it worked, but it's a shaky heritage moment. Enter Justin Trudeau in 2025 amid diplomatic spat with Trump administration, tariff, 51st state jabs. He posts a video of Wickenheiser from 2014 still seething over the flag myth with what she said, a fabricated tale flaunted as pride. Tone-deaf timing. What is messy? Why is this messy? 2002 story Untruthfulness was controversial then. USA players like Angela Ruggiero denied it hard. Now, with real stakes, trade wars, border tensions, Trudeau leans on fake Olympic grudge, acting like a loser, flexing a paper trophy, LARPing as a winner. Now, Canada won the game, but this is what you would call being a sore winner. Win with grace, folks. This is what we should do. Wickenheiser's a legend, but she might have been duped by her own squad. Trudeau's move ignores that, pushing a feel-good myth when Canada needs sharp reality. Diplomatic crises aren't won by hockey folklore, and almost nothing is ever won if it's at the cost of truth. In a short clip from CBC shared by elation by Trudeau tonight, is actually considered one of the most significant blights on the history of Canadian hockey. In fact, there are members of the Canadian and American Olympic squads talking about it as such amongst themselves. Now, this is a clip from CBC where they're talking about this and how many of them regret the whole scenario. They regret the whole situation. Now, of course, links will all be in the description down below. You can watch these at your leisure. I'm just trying to keep this video short and concise. I'm thrilled Canada won. However, Trudeau sharing this moment without context is indicative of a leader who prefers winning at all costs over truthfulness and integrity, a disturbing glimpse into the warped mind of a man who looks to stir animosity over embracing integrity. He's always talking about, oh, I'm the guy who's going to bring people. He's the separator. He's the divisive guy in chief. And when he's not dividing Canadians up, he's dividing Canadians against Americans, and a lot of people are just not seeing through this. I wish people would see through this. He's just using his narcissistic divisive techniques here. While it's just a celebratory tweet and one more easily forgotten moment of pride and patriotism, the larger context behind the sport's history it seeks to celebrate and emulate reveals much about the ongoing hostilities between Trump's America and Trudeau's Canada. How a lot of it comes out of untruths. Let's talk about that. This might just provide a superlative demonstration of why Trump's administration shows so much contempt for Canada at the moment. It's not because we're good at playing hockey. It's because our government is so bad at telling the truth. We've seen this all before. Trudeau couldn't be truthful about, I don't know, a bunch of truck drivers that came down to Ottawa to talk about mandates. He made up a bunch of stories about what they were actually talking about instead of just discussing the mandates, an actual implementation of what the government wanted to do to Canadian citizens and what people were largely against at the time. Now, I'd like to leave this one with you. And I'm going to actually talk about this in my live stream tonight. So tune in tonight. We're going to go in more depth than we can do in a 12-minute video. I'd love to share more of this with you. So tune in tonight at 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern. We'll be going over this story and many others in a long-form conversation with the chat with you guys. Love to hear from you guys. But in the meantime, leave a comment in the comment section down below so we can get that conversation started. Let me know what you think about this, the lies. Why should we be perpetuating this lie in this instance, and why we should actually be pushing for the truth at a time when U.S. trade relations are not that great. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.